Hey guys, it's Richard and welcome back to Grafting Dragon Fruit. In this video today, I'm going to be giving you guys a full tour of my current dragon fruit setup. As promised from my moving video, I didn't get a chance to show that to you guys because it was so dark once we got here. So now I'm going to give you guys an update of what it currently looks like at Dragon Valley. So let's go guys. So if you guys remember, at my old home, we had a similar setup that looks just like this, but a lot smaller scaled. So this kind of mimics Dragon Alley at my old home. So all of the ones that were sensitive to sun scalding and getting sunburns all the time, I just placed them here just because I know the Guatemalensis variety is a little sensitive to sun. The Vietnamese white also gets toasted. And I'm just playing right now to see what works out there and what doesn't. I'm just gonna start putting them over here. And if you guys look on top of me, this is 30% shade cloth. And this helped with all of the recovery process here that I didn't get to show you guys during the move. But this is basically what I did, guys. Kind of left it here for them to acclimate for about 2 to 3 weeks. And I slowly started to bring out the sun. I didn't add this until they started to acclimate, and then once they did acclimate, I put it over and it did even better, you guys. So just look at all of the green growth. There's a lot of, as you can see, all this yellow is the sun scalding. This is the sunburn, and lucky for me, it didn't cause too much damage. We can sometimes get the burn so bad where it just turns to mush, and then the flesh will just start to fall off. Something like this. This is an area where it got burnt, and look at that, it's crisp. And it just breaks off like that. So you're just gonna get cambium layer and all the green flesh just kind of eventually melts right off. But they're starting, all of the new growth are healthy, green, getting really plumped again. And that's exactly what I want. So this 30% shade cloth helped dramatically with the process of recovering. So if you guys ever have a problem with that sun, get some shade, set it up, and you guys will see the difference. Just showing you guys a little other stuff I have here. These are the Asunta 7 seedlings. I had this in the shed, protected from the sun, and I finally brought it out, and they're finally starting to grow again. So I've been working on the Asunta 7 for Edgar Valdivia. He gave me these seeds. We actually have a first bud from Asunta 7 already, and I'll show you guys as we go deeper into the tour. But this is the first steps, or the first area here, before I show you guys the real area. Some more here that I've been grafting. This is a poi poo, but I saved some area here just in case if I have any more sun scalding over there, then I have some reserve area here to bring them here to recover. So this is almost like a recovery area for the ones that get beat up in the sun. Okay guys, so that was a little part here. Now we're gonna jump to the main area, the area that gets all of the sun, full sun. We have Dragon Valley. So here we are, Dragon Valley. You guys can see there's nothing covered. Maybe there's some of these trees, but it only covers so much of them. But if they're right in the middle here, they would get toasted, you guys. So let's go through every single pot, what's been going on, and then we'll talk a little bit about what my process and what I'm thinking of doing with all of this space, okay? This here is one of my trellis that I put a bunch of varieties that I grafted in. So there's no specific variety here. I call this the Asunta 6 trellis because I grafted about 6 different seedlings, Asunta 6 seedlings, and had them to mature. And I wanted to try the fruit first to see if they're good. If they're worthy, I take clippings off of them and I'm gonna clone them into their own pot. But for now, there's 6, 7 different seedlings in here, and they're all different. So I'll just show you guys. I named this one Tropical Skies because, you know, the flower and the fruit looks just so beautiful, reminding me of a tropical sky. So that's why I did that. This one here is Nectar Sunrise. The main reason why I named it Nectar Sunrise is because when the flower bloomed, it looked like a beautiful cotton candy sunset. So I love that. Over here, we have a Asunta 6 usually have pink or red flowers. So this is one of the first flower that is white. So there we have that one. So yeah, as you guys can see, mixed pots with lots of different varieties, and once I try them, I'll decide which one I want to keep, and I'll start cloning them, 4 cuttings per pot and making only 1 single variety per pot. So that's my little grafting area, and I have it right under this avocado tree because I want them to stay healthy, don't get any burns, so that way I get fruit soon. All right, next one. This one took a good beating from the sun when I moved into here last year. And also the wet rain that we had in Southern California was horrible. We had rain for 2 weeks straight and it was heavy. That made me reevaluate my thinking, how I should be growing dragon fruit and what type of medium potting soil I should be using. So there's gonna be a lot of changes and I'm gonna give you guys all those updates, and I'm gonna be trying everything to, try to avoid that winter rot that happens every year. I'm kind of sick of it by now. But yep, you got the sunburn. So I had to, cut off a lot of the branches that were burnt. This whole trellis was full. It was a mature trellis with the canopy. I have here Vietnamese red, Connie Meyer, and cotton candy. And I'm telling you guys, this whole pot looks so beautiful before it got damaged from nature. And that's totally fine. I'm learning as I go, and with all this information I can share it with you guys to help improve your garden so it doesn't happen to you guys. But I'll take all of the beating so I can pass it on to you. So yeah, this pot needs a lot of recovering. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just wait till new cuttings grow out. I'm gonna take 4 fresh cuttings, the varieties that I like I told you guys. I'm gonna do 1 single pot of 4 varieties and then clone only the ones that I like. Okay, next one here is another mixed pot. So this one also took a beating, and as you guys can see, this branch had a really bad sunburn. Like the flesh literally melted right off of it. You can see the cambium layer, and then you go down, you're gonna start to see the flesh. This one, I kind of just remove all of the burnt and the melting flesh, and I left it because it was a mature branch. I knew it was gonna fruit again, so I didn't want to take it off completely. I was gonna give it 1 more season to recover, see if it fruits, and if it does, let it do its thing, and then take it off the very next season so a new branch can grow. And here we have it. I was right. We have 1 singular bud on here, and we're gonna let that ripe, and once the fruit's done, this one's gonna go. So another mixed pot, 4 different varieties. This one, you may think this is sunburn, but this is actually a variegated plant. I grafted this seedling. This is a Sunta 6 seedling, and it started doing this variegation. It doesn't ever turn mushy, and there on the other side, you can actually see green on it. So there's green and yellow. So I thought it was very interesting, but it's been about 2 years now, and I haven't seen any fruit yet, so I might just remove it. But it just grew a new branch, and I'm curious if this one is gonna actually finally give me some fruit. So we have also more varieties that are different in here, 4 different varieties. We have Pink Panther, my favorite. Hannah, this one takes like a big lychee, you guys. It is so good. If you haven't grown Hannah yet, really recommend it because they're self-fertile, they taste really good, and they can self-pollinate each other. But I always come out here and hand pollinate. And the other cool thing is it's a 2-tone colored flower. You're gonna have a pink base down there. You guys see that? It's beautiful once it blooms. You guys have that pink base on the bottom and then a white flower. So as you guys can see, a lot of these pots here, I was just experimenting, and my thought process last season was I didn't want to commit to a full pot of all of the same varieties, 4 cuttings of the same varieties, because what if I didn't like it? What if I tried the fruit and I didn't think it tastes good and I want to replace it with something else? Then I would have wasted all my time growing 4 varieties and then removing every single thing, versus growing 4 different varieties and then seeing which one I like. And if I like that one, I can reclone that one, and the ones I didn't like, I'll totally get rid of it. So that was my thinking process at Dragon Alley. And now that I'm over here, I have more space, so I'm allowed to grow 1 variety per pot. And I really recommend you guys do that. Unless you guys are tight on space, then do the 4 varieties. But it's just, once they grow out, it gets crazy and branches entwine, and you're eventually gonna lose track of what varieties you have in a pot when you have mixed varieties. So for someone like me, I do a lot of breeding. I do a lot of creation of new hybrids, and I also gonna start selling cuttings on my website, graftingdragonfruits.com. So I don't wanna make any of that mistake. So we wanna make sure that every single pot is a singular variety and nothing gets entwined, so nothing gets mixed up during the sales, okay guys? And let's go, I just wanted to remove this since we're here. This is Thai Gold. When you guys start to see the buds turn yellow like this, they're gonna abort and fall off anyways. So what I do is I'm just gonna go ahead and take them off because they are a waste of energy to keep them on. They're gonna just try to hold on and try to get nutrition here to survive. You don't want that. You wanna take these off so then they can stop sending all of those hormones there and give all of the growth to the ones that are healthy and gonna bloom into beautiful fruit. And we have plenty of Thai Gold buds here, so we don't need these anymore. They're just gonna go. All right, we have Frankie's Red, Edgar's Baby, and a Voodoo Child, and Cosmic Charlie. I enjoy every single one of these varieties, so they're all gonna stay. The only difference is I'm gonna take every single one of these varieties and give it their own pots, okay guys? Here we have very minimal sun damage. It was actually really bad. This is Purple Haze. We have a Desert King over there. This is a Diego Desert King seedling that he gave me. I tried the fruit and I loved it. I just wanted to make sure it grows well in my climate before I commit to a full pot, so that's why I only did one cutting of that. But here we have Purple Haze. Fruits have been setting, flowers has been growing, and we can actually take this off. I know the fruit has set, it's been longer than 7 days. Usually you know the fruit is successful and if it took the pollen after 7 days, because this part will start to wilt and you can pull that off super easily. And if it doesn't, the whole thing will turn yellow and abort right off. So I take this off because once the fruit ripes and these dry up, sometimes when they're too ripe, I can pull it and the flesh comes right off with it. So I started to learn to take this off earlier, and fungus actually grows into the flower. I don't want any of that on my fruit, so we just totally remove it. Okay guys, we're halfway through Dragon Valley. Here is my other side. We have Assunta 6 Wildberry Skittles. These were one of the newest last year of the Assunta line, and I love both of them. They are so good, but there's 2 different varieties in here, and I want way more fruit than what I've been getting from just having 2 of the varieties. There's 2 each, 2 Wildberry Skittles and 2 Assunta 6. Here's an Assunta 6 bud. So they're gonna be blooming soon. And this flower, you guys, is beautiful. I'm telling you guys, light pink flower that looks so majestic, like it's Queen Elizabeth walking down the aisle. It's super beautiful, you guys. So yeah, gonna be cloning all these. So a lot of things are gonna be multiplied. Everything's gonna be a singular pot. We're gonna use all of this space here. Here's the one I've been showcasing so much. This is my, I just call this my Assunta pot because I have 4 different Assuntas in here. I have Assunta 3, Assunta 4, Assunta 5, and Assunta 5 sister that I named Sunset Sherbet. She hasn't bloomed yet, but the buds are finally here. And these are all the Sunset Sherbet buds. I like everything in this pot besides Assunta 4. It's very hard for me to say because I was actually a big fan of Assunta 4 for the longest time. But as the years gone by and I started growing, I started to see problems with them. One main problem was the flower would get stuck. And what I mean by getting stuck is, here's one, for example. This is Assunta 4. These actually bloom, and 1 out of 4 of Assunta 4 buds didn't bloom. This one was closed completely. So what happened was, it just stayed closed the whole time. It never bloomed for me to do the pollination cycle. And this part started to just wilt like this, and the flower was still closed. And I was like, why does this always happen? Year after year, I would get a few, and I would only have about 70% of the flowers open. And then that 30%, it just made me so sad and frustrated because you're growing dragon fruit all year and you want to see the flowers just as beautiful, but you also want fruit from all your efforts. So I got so frustrated of that, you guys. I was like, I'm gonna create a new Assunta 4 that doesn't get stuck. And I hope that it gets all of Assunta 4's traits like the flower, because the flower is absolutely beautiful, you guys. When I saw this flower, it was nothing like any of the other ones. It has white tips, purple fuchsia hues to it, and it just was one of those flowers that bloom earlier in the day, so you get to enjoy it during the daytime. And I was like, we had to get it done. Fast forward to today. We're gonna go a few trails down, but this is Pelora. You guys know all about Pelora. I did this, I have a series of this called Grafting Dragon Fruit Seedling when I very started this channel. Now, 4 years later, we have established Pelora. But this is what I'm talking about, you guys. This is Assunta 4's daughter. Right now, I just named it Assunta 4 crossed with Red Laverne. So the hybrids are Assunta 4 as the mother, Red Laverne as the father, and this is what we have here. I'm thinking of calling it Baby Assunta or Assunta's Baby. You let me know if you guys think that's a good idea, or any other name recommendations. Let me know so I can get some to name this one eventually. But so far, I haven't had this problem where the flower gets stuck, the flower doesn't bloom and it aborts. I've been having 100% success rate with this Assunta 4's daughter. They have been blooming and the fruit has been setting, and this was the last out of 4 to bloom. So I can confidently say now we have 100% success rate of the flower blooming, and this flower looks exactly like Asunta 4, but a improved version. The flower is more symmetrical and the colors looks just like her mother. And I just can't wait to try the fruit. I mean, flowers can look good and cool and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter if the fruit doesn't taste good. Even if the flower looks like this beautiful and if it doesn't taste good, I'll throw it out and I'll start all over just to find that perfect pheno dragon fruit variety that will bloom all the way and have good fruit too. We want the dragon fruit flavor because we already have enough bad rep of bad tasting dragon fruit out there. Shout out to you Vietnamese white, you made the market think dragon fruit is not good. So I'm trying to change all of that stigma by showing people there's more than just that Vietnamese white flesh out there. All right, we're almost to the end here, guys. This is a new variety that I just got from my friend Tang Nguyen. This is Pink Laverne, and this one is called CFA DK number 16. Never tried it, but I hear from all these people that it is really, really good. So that's why I put one cutting in there. And if I like it, I have about 4 cuttings now that I can clone into a separate pot and have a singular variety. And speaking of Pink Laverne, we have a flower also blooming tonight. Just look how huge this flower is, guys. It's almost as big as my face. I can smell that crushed pods of vanilla ocean breeze just wafting into my nostril right now as I do this. It's so cool, it smells so good. All right, we are almost at the end of Dragon Valley, I'm sorry. Just gotta get used to saying Dragon Valley now. So these are my grafted Pelora. I grew these ever since they were a seed. I grafted them and they've been fruiting for me year round. They don't stop. Once one fruit cycle ends, another pot would start to bud and then they start to grow and then the same thing would happen. So with these Peloras specifically, I've been getting fruit all year round. Winter, fall, summer, you name it. I have fruit from Pelora. All right, we're gonna go down. So this area here does get a little bit more sun than that area. Sugar Dragon, I thought can take all of that sun. The more sun you have, the more flowers you get and the sweeter your fruits are. And Sugar Dragon is one of those that I just love, but their fruits are so small, so I wanted to get more fruit for them. So my thinking process was leave them here, more sun, more fruit, sweeter fruit. But when I did that, it was too much sun. So this is a prime example of what it looks like when you have too much sun scalding. They just turn yellow like this. They're nice and plump. They still produce fruit. They still produce buds. We have some hidden down here. But the only thing is, aesthetically, they don't look happy. How would you feel if you're pregnant with all these babies and getting burnt by the sun all day? This is what you would look like, just beat up. So today, I'm actually gonna take this trellis and we're gonna move it back to the other area that mimics Dragon Alley, where it has a lot more shade with a shade cloth, and get it to bounce back and recover. And I can do more updates on this to show you guys the recovering process. If you guys would like to see that, leave in the comments below. So yeah, I gotta move this later. The sun scalding does not look cool. Even though the branches are plumped, I know they're nice and water filled and I've been watering enough, but the sun is it's just not happy with the sun, guys, so this gotta move. Okay, so we have here my other favorite trellis. This is Red Laverne. These fruits grow ginormous. I'm telling you guys, 3-pounder fruit. So if you guys are looking for that one fruit that just impresses everybody, your friends, your neighbors, and you just want to show-stop everybody, Red Laverne's a very great one. Here's a bud. And it looks like almost a ripe fruit, but this, I just pollinate this about July 27th. Today is August 2nd, so not too long, about 2 weeks. And the fruit is bigger than my palm. A lot of fruits, this would be a full-size fruit already. But this one is gonna grow bigger and eventually get about this big. So Red Laverne is a really great one. And this area here is just like Dragon Alley. I've been keeping cuttings here during the moving process. I haven't gone to this area to clean up what I want and what I want to keep yet. For me, I do a lot of grafting, so I keep all of these rooted cuttings mainly for grafting. So I don't really care what they are, if they're good or not. As long as they have an established root, they grow vigorously, and if they grow good in my climate, I'll just keep them here for rootstock and graft them once I need to. Here is my grape pop. This one was actually getting burnt by the sun a lot. And here in this area, it only gets the very late evening sun. As you can see now, this is the sun that it gets. And look at how green they are now. There's not a single yellow spot on here. Everything is nice and plumped. They're fruiting and budding. I was afraid if there was not enough sun on here, I was not gonna get any fruit. But lucky for me, it actually really likes this spot. So a lot of the times, you guys, it's just seeing what your variety is like, what they like, how they like their environment, and you gotta just adjust. That's the thing with me, you guys. There's not always one thing that I do. I'm still learning as I go, and when I learn something new, I always share it with you guys. So I'm learning what varieties like sun, which one likes more shade, and which one does well in our climate, and I only want to grow and have those varieties that grow well in my climate. Behind me, more varieties that need to be babied. They got sunburnt. So I'm kind of using this area kind of like a emergency area because there's no sun here. I'll put them here until they turn back green and healthy and slowly acclimate them back out. So this is an unused area, kind of like a nursery for cuttings, grafts, and all that needs to heal. But my plan is, just to prevent me from going in there and getting poked, if you guys see all this space here, I plan on creating some shade canopy with 30% shade. And we're gonna actually have more pots that line up like this, side by side. And the reason I'm doing that, guys, because when they have 30% shade, they just grow so well, so healthy. Cuttings are flat and plump, and a lot of growth comes out. Like I've said before, if you guys want lots of flowers, then put them in full sun. You guys get lots of buds. But if you guys want lots of branches and cuttings, put them in shade. They love the shade. They will start to reach to find the sun, grow multiple branches, and then they're just so nice and green and plump. And how is that good for me and you guys? It gives me an opportunity to have healthier cuttings, so that way I can provide more supply to the website, and all of you guys eventually will have all of the varieties I have here. It's a slow process because you guys know plants take their time, they grow at their speed, but I'm gonna try to expedite that by grafting them, creating some shade so they just have vigorous growth, and then eventually have a good supply of dragon fruit cutting for all of you guys. So that is the update and the tour of the new Dragon Valley. I hope you guys enjoy all of that. I have some pollination to do tonight, like Pelora, Laverne. So after this video, I'm just gonna be pollinating and calling it a night. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tour, and if you guys did, hit that like button. If you guys have any comments at all, or any future video content that you guys want me to talk about or make, leave it in the comments below. I need more content, so you guys are my main supporters. I wouldn't have all of these videos and content without you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because it helps me create more content. When I see you guys like my videos, it makes me feel confident that you guys are actually watching my stuff, so it makes me want to make more content for you guys. Okay, so that's it. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Grafting Dragon Fruits channel. See you guys.